Welcome to the LANCave where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Poor Horizon, man. Just poor Horizon.
Right? That
I
was
feel
not...
so bad for Guerrilla Games, dude. It happened not once. Once was bad enough where you put out this amazing game, peak like what I'm now been calling it with some gaming buddies, peak like Assassin's Creed style open world.
Beautiful
And
game. Yeah.
Within 5 days, a open world drops. Then you drop an amazing sequel, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. I'm enjoying the hell out of Horizon Forbidden West. And then 7 days later this time, they got 2 additional days.
Yep. Sorry.
Elden Ring, another completely
right.
open world drops.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about Elden Ring. Yeah, last time Breath of the Wild drops.
I'm saying both launches, dude. You launch a game of the year level game, and you just drop.
Yeah,
This baby. You just drop this glorious steelbook.
I'll have mine soon. I should have mine on Saturday, by the way. Pre-ordered in December.
I should have had it 6 days ago.
Pre-ordered in December. I got this bad boy this morning. So 5 days late. I bought it digitally. Yeah, I bought it digitally because I couldn't wait. Owen did this on Final Fantasy VII. I did this for Elden Ring. I'm I'm not waiting. I had time set aside on the weekend. I just finished a work trip. I am playing Elden Ring. And I will say, while Horizon was eclipsed by Breath of the Wild last time, I contend this is Breath of the Wild's Souls. This game,
absolutely.
I'm floored. The exploration, the just so much of this game, but the exploration in this game.
We're gonna spend some time talking about this game.
Oh,
because you gotta. So I've played now for an hour and 20 minutes. Baby's first Souls game over here. I told Patrick many times Bloodborne was gonna be it, right? But then I was like, they were like, oh, there's a steelbook at Best Buy. And I'm like, don't show me the steelbook. What does Patrick do? He shows me this glorious. This is one of the coolest looking steelbooks I own.
Look at that lion. Yeah, look at that lion, man.
It's shiny, by the way, because I haven't taken the cellophane off because I'm just like, why should I? But beautiful steelbook. And I'm like, don't show me that because I have a weakness. I have a weakness for steelbooks. I've bought games simply because. So, okay, I'm like, all right, I'm playing Horizon. I'm not going to play it, right? Horizon's a good time. I'm 10 to 12 hours into Horizon, just slow rolling it, killing some robot dinosaurs. Then my wife comes up to me yesterday. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I was gonna play some games or whatever. She's like, you want to play Elden Ring? I was like, what? I was like, you want to play Elden Ring, right? And I was like, yes, I guess I want to play Elden Ring, right? Yeah, I guess so. So my wife, who would never ever in a million years play a Souls game, has been reading about this game, seen it on NPR even, and so on and so forth. She's like, I want you to play this game. I'm like, okay. So pop it in there, load her up, get through the character creator, go through the little tutorial. This game is overwhelming as F, dude. There's so many menus. I'm asking people in the Discord, I'm like, so is it just gonna auto level these stats for me? Nope. Is it gonna tell me what the best gear is? Nope. Is it gonna tell me where to go? Nope.
It's not gonna help you at all. It's not just a difficult game from a combat perspective. The game doesn't hold your hand. There's no quest log. So as I turned on this source, you see I was talking to an NPC, and she says, hey, my dad is over here, and I need you to give me can you deliver a letter to him? And I'm like, okay. There's nothing marked on the map on that, by the way. She tells you where he is verbally, and if you go back, she'll tell you again. One NPC. I've put in probably 10 hours on this game, by the way, which is a lot for me in a week. Yeah, so one NPC has told me anything that marked anything on my map. Everything else, it was an NPC talks about something, and then they're like, It's cryptic. It's dark. No
Did they
pun
give you an
intended.
item like that is like in a key items thing? Like say give a letter. Can you go
Yeah,
see the letter in your inventory to at
I
least like remind you?
I think I have the letter in my inventory, but the other NPC that I talked to, she, um, I'm trying not to spoil things for like for you or anybody else who like it's, but
Dude, I've been in a spoiler channel
okay, so
for 5 days now, and every time I read anything, I'm like, huh? I'm
okay,
never gonna
slight
remember it.
slight
There's so much in
spoilers.
this game.
You see this woman, and she's like, oh my, I'm the last one of my party, and they've all been like taken over by the spider, and they've all become parts of the spider, like this macabre, like the pieces get piercing, the person's apparently ripped apart, and she's like, I want to join them, but I'm too scared to be decapitated and all this other stuff. Like she wants to become part of the thing, part of the spider or whatever. And apparently you're supposed to do something, or I don't know if you're supposed to kill the spider or what. I haven't even found the spider, so there's nothing on the map. But people are like, oh, that's a quest line. What
Yeah.
quest line?
There are no quest lines. So
I mean, you will finish a quest and they'll give you an item and stuff, but it's no like thing in a book, in a quest log. Yeah.
I admittedly have already like cheated once. Some people were talking to me about like don't look up your like try not to look up too much stuff. I'm like trying not to, but at the same time, this game is so overwhelming in terms of like what do I point? Because now I understand leveling means putting something into a stat equals a level. Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense now. But I'm like, what do I put levels into? And they're like, well, what are you trying to be? And I'm like, I don't know.
What'd you pick? Did you pick astrologer? I think that's the one that I.
No,
Okay.
I picked the
Priest?
I picked the other prophet.
Prophet. Okay, yeah, that's right.
So
Prophet.
the
So
faith-based one, he
faith-based.
comes with
Yeah.
a she, because I always pick girl characters.
Same. Yeah.
She has a heal and a fire spell.
Okay.
To start, and she gets this little spear. And so I'm like, what do I put stuff in? And they're like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, what can I be? And they're like, anything.
Anything.
Like,
You can
okay,
start.
You're not helping me. Can you give me like such a? So I'm like looking stuff online. I'm like, all right, I do want to try and primarily eventually get to like magic. So they're like, all right, you're gonna need some like faith, I guess, and some arcane maybe.
If
They're
you're
like,
doing
you should probably start with health though, because you're gonna die. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean the majority of people put their souls runes in this game into health because it makes the game easier. And you can grind out runes. There are places that later on in the game where it's really easy. You can start as whatever class you want and then spec however you want, and then you can respec at some point in this game. By the way, it's apparently
Sure.
further into the late game, or what I would consider like mid to late.
Yeah, somebody was already telling me that they're like stuck on an optional boss before the final boss, I guess.
Okay.
And they're gonna beat the final boss and come back because the optional boss is so hard that they're gonna respec into it. Is what they were saying.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know there is a, or I should say, I don't know in this game. In some of the other games, there is a point of no return. I don't know if this game has it as well. Some of the other games where.
It does.
Okay.
From
So
what I know, there is an end game.
okay. Usually they give you a prompt where the person is like, "We're gonna do something. Are you ready? Make sure you've settled all your
So
affairs."
what did you
or whatever."
start with then? Because I saw that you had a little staff here.
Yeah. So I'm an
Cast the
astrologer.
range. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm astrologer. So I'm intelligence based sorcery caster, where your character's more of faith based miracles kind of thing. I think they call them incantations in this one. But you have healing, and apparently fire is part of this as well. But yeah, so I'm more of like your straightforward traditional sorcerer. But I threw in. I think you start with 7 points in faith as a sorcerer, so I bumped that to 12 so I can have a heal spell and I also have a cure poison.
So did you find the heal spell? Did you buy it from somebody?
There is an NPC that will teach it to you.
Okay.
And there's an NPC.
That's the thing where I'm like, just kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
They're like, you can build anything you want. And I was like, but I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any idea what I'm going to run into. So far, like, the fire spell's cool, but you have to be really close for it. The only reason I picked it is because they were saying that the prophet was like a little less squishy to start with, and so I was trying to be a little less squishy.
So you don't have the horse yet, right?
I do have the horse. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
No, I have the horse. And that was the thing. I saw it in your inventory there. I also cheated and looked up how to get the summon bell. So,
Okay.
so
Totally
that was
helps.
what I
Yeah.
yeah. So because that was the reason why I did. I was watching a tips and tricks thing, and they were like, "You want to go get the summoning bell because if you're not, if you're especially if you're playing a lot of the game solo, which I probably will be. I have been online, but I probably will be playing mostly solo, unless at some point, maybe I ask you or there's some people in the Discord that have fought stuff and like they can help me beat some bosses, maybe, which will probably be the only way I ever get even close to finishing this game.
Well, the good thing is
That
asking
the
to summon
summoning's
someone.
good for solo people.
Yeah, it's good for some solo people. Also, if you are needing someone's help, in the previous games, it was harder to be in a state where you could summon people. You had to use a specific item, which is in pretty low, like limited quantity,
Yeah, this
quasi
one just
limited.
straight up seems to like give like you can just buy it. I think, or you can
you
craft
you
it.
can craft it. You can craft it, and I made like 25, 30 of them. So and the ability to go farm these materials, literally like go around and grabbing flowers, um,
Yeah.
has made it more accessible. I'm on a boss right now, which I think it's too high level for me to complete, but I was stubborn, and I think I went to fight it like probably 10 times, and I really shouldn't. I should be doing something else. But each time I was summoning someone to help me, thinking, okay, this will I'll just kind of stay away and cast at people, and it wasn't enough. Um, the horse helps for those who've not played a Souls game. This is a great like first, baby's first Souls, like you said. The fast travel system there's so many spots to fast travel. You spawn relatively close to where you died, compared to other Souls games. There's still some areas that are kind of a journey, but yeah, the combat may still be difficult, but the game is more forgiving when it comes to like overall level design and stuff. I don't know if you've seen one of those jumps, by the way, but those are pretty cool.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I forget that. Not forget. Again, I only played for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I got the horse, and like my whole thing is because I don't know how to fight anything or anything. Like I saw you in this video, you're running away. You're just
I run
running
a lot.
past all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. Like I, not knowing how to fight anything to begin with, there's like this little like camp, and there's several dudes there, and like night-looking dudes, and so I'm like, all right. I'm just gonna start fighting people. I died a couple times where I got triple teamed, and mainly though I've found that I just like to stealth people and sneak around. And then the funniest part was on my my lunch today. I was like, so why was it like leading me here? Well, why was it pointing me here? So like, okay, walk into this area. I'm like, all right, there's these archers shooting at me. I don't have a long range weapon. I don't have a long range spell. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I'm just trying to like sneak in, and then all of a sudden I just hear like this grunt, and this dude just like jumps down. I'm like, all right, bro. I wasn't about this. Like, it's just this. So I just left. I literally just was like, I just turned. Just not on my horse or anything. He just stands there. By the way, he wasn't chasing me or anything. But I was like, all right.
Dude, I run all the time. As you can see here, like I run. So this is part of a puzzle, as it were. You read this thing and it's like find the like 3 sacred beasts or something, and it means like these like spirits, and basically attack the spirits. And one of them is hidden. It took me forever to find. These messages are people like telling you, dude, it's right here, attacking. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. It's like invisible, but it's right there. So spoilers, if you're probably going to get stuck here. Everyone does. It's right there. And I was like, maybe I'll attack here, but I just happened to miss it. There's all kinds of little things that you find in here. So this spot right here, if you find the 3 turtles, you attack them, it unlocks the tower, and you get this memory stone, which lets you have another spell slot. So right now you have 2 spells, and you can only keep 2 spells in your memory. There's your second turtle, by the way. So
there's just so much in this game in terms of inventory. We're just like, what do you want me to do?
I'm doing.
And literally, like, the thing that's confusing, like, I found a helmet and it was like more defense, and I was like, I probably want that right now. But then I looked at it and it like takes away like the stupid starting wrap that I start with.
Yep.
Is about magic, and I'm like, well, I want to be magic long term. I'm like, do I think short term and just keep this thing on? And I haven't really. I just put the wrap back on.
Yeah.
And
there's
like, if something's gonna kill me, it's gonna kill me. It's whatever. But I will say this about the death part. So far, there will definitely be a part where I just get straight up annoyed because I know how I am. I don't like things that seem just like super unfair. But knowing the thing that I've always been afraid of with Souls games, I know it's like death. I win into a fight, and I'm fighting one-on-one with these things, and I'm winning. The second that I got triple teamed, there was a dude, and he had a wolf, and then there was another knight dude, and I was like, I'm gonna die. And I died. It happens. And but I wasn't upset about it because I was just like, I know that I'm about to die.
Yep.
And that was a weird thing for me because normally in that kind of instance I would be annoyed, but because I'm expecting it from the genre, because I'm expecting just to die, it didn't bother me the way a death normally would bother me. You know what I mean? Like in Horizon, for example, the first time that I died in Horizon, I was like, what the crap just happened? Like it was again my own fault because I just hadn't played Horizon in a while, and I forgot like how aggressive those robots can be, and I just wasn't expecting to die. But the feeling that I'm like, I'm just gonna die in this game and it's gonna happen a bunch, probably so far hasn't bothered me. There will eventually be like a boss where I'm just like, all right, dude, what am I supposed to do? But so far, at least like main world, where I'm like, I've laughed every time I've got a "you died" screen because I'm just like, yep, I did.
Yep. I will say, like, I am totally guilty of playing and cursing and saying like, what, and like, no, like, but it's really that I'm frustrated that I made a mistake, or I haven't learned a boss pattern, or there were these like is it ballista, the big crossbow things?
This is like a giant boner.
Yeah. So like those were like shooting, and I thought I had dodged the right way, but this one can turn, and I didn't know that the NPC can rotate it. So I went to the left thinking, oh, well, it's just a straight thing, because usually in the Souls games, those are sedentary, if you will. They're fixed position. So if I go to the left a little bit, I'm okay. No, so I curse and get frustrated, but the game is punishing, but there's a method to it. There's always a pattern. There's always something that you're missing. Otherwise, there wouldn't be people who, like, someone already beat this game, I think, with a 0 hit. Like, they beat the game without getting hit once. And the game's been out, 5 days? So there's always a method to the madness.
I'm sure the speedrun routing is already happening.
They're already
as it is. But I also, like, one thing that is hard is you just not never, but there's a lot of times that it's mainly maybe just because I can't play with the volume that high, but like I don't even know another dude's there. Like I'm fighting one dude, and then all of a sudden, oh, where'd you come from, bro?
Yeah. So sometimes, sometimes there's no audio cue, sometimes there is.
It does feel like real life in terms of like an audio thing. Like you would never know that this thing was about to come out and stab you anyway, unless it like told you, hey bud, I'm about to come out and stab you. But this is a video game, so like, could you just make like a noise? Like, couldn't you crack a stick or something?
There's some footsteps in some sections where, like, depending on where you are, there's footsteps. But yeah, that totally happens. They'll round the corner. Speaking of people dying a lot, Dr. Disrespect played it and rage quitted. I don't know if you heard about this, which everyone was talking about, saying like, oh, he rage quitted. He died, I think it was like 38 times in his first stream, and then like ranted for like 30 minutes about how he was never going to play the game again. It's just trash, and the controls were too sluggish, and the next day he's back playing it again. So of course, it's for the views, it's for the drama, but I just thought that was hilarious. So I snagged his video, and there's a little compilation of him dying, and I just realized that his face is kind of obscured here, but there's a lot of times where he's kind of processing like what happened in the kill, and even he's like, I don't understand. Like,
wait, did he die in the tutorial boss that I didn't die to? The Soldier of Godric?
Yeah, actually he did. Hold up, let me rewind this.
That was honestly one of my favorite things happening. I
was proud.
So I have the online connected. I didn't die to this guy because this, like 2 seconds before I fought it was like, hey, you can like if you have a shield, you can block and instantly hit, so he doesn't break your shield if you block right there. And I killed him. I was just like, I literally sat there for 10 minutes watching other people die, and I was like,
So he straight up, like, look at this. He reads that. I'm gonna rewind it. He reads that because he's like, hey, you can perform a counterattack. That's your riposte or parry or whatever, right? So he reads that, and watch, he parries way too quick. He parries way too soon. His timing way before he gets hit. So because the timing and the rhythm, the guy was kind of charging up and getting ready to attack. So you beat the first tutorial boss that he did not beat. So, bravo.
What's funny is like it also doesn't tell you to parry. It tells you to block.
It tells you to block. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, and so he parried when he's supposed to just block.
Yeah.
And
so
Kevin hit the wrong button to begin with.
Kevin in the comments saying is it more or less forgiving than Dark Souls? It's more forgiving in the layout and being able to go from being able to get in and out of a combat situation, because the majority of your combat is more in the open world. There are some underground and tunnely things, but
you don't get punished for dying other than runes.
No. So in the previous games, you would be in a you would have a considerably lower health. It would be like 50% of your health. In fact, there's like a ring you could wear in Demon Souls that makes it 75% instead of 50, and I would wear that all the time because 50% health
fast travels all over the place.
Fast travel.
You have a horse, you can jump.
So much more forgiving. So this is another one of his deaths. He just keeps getting frustrated.
Doc's so funny. I mean,
he's great.
That's his thing is to get raged, is to install a game. That's part of his shtick.
Which of course everyone's, when he said that, people who didn't know, or maybe they wanted the clicks or whatever, they were like, and his stream titles were like, gonna play this, the easiest game, Elden Ring or whatever, and he's just dying over and over again, which made me feel really good because this isn't his style of game. But even he, as a game developer, former game developer, he's like, he understands, but even he's frustrated by it. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I'm definitely gonna get frustrated by it. So far, it has. Again, I'm only an hour in. I just feel so bad for Horizon because right now, since she wants me to play this, that's what I'm gonna play with my time. I'm now having less time right now because I just started a work-related career development thing where I have to do stuff outside of work, where I'm trying to take some classes and stuff, so I'm gonna have even less time, and I want to play Horizon. I'm having a ball in Horizon, but it's like, well, she's just, why don't you play some Elden Ring? And then literally there's a zeitgeist right now of Elden Ring. Nobody's talking about Horizon anymore. Everybody talked about Horizon for a week, and now it's gone. And I think that this is probably, arguably, I think the most talked about Souls game I've ever seen. I've only been around for a couple of launches, really into the video game industry. Bloodborne was big at the beginning of PS4, but it still just wasn't. It was still niche. And then Demon Souls on the PS5 was also big, but it was during a time where not a lot of people had PS5s. And so now you have Elden Ring here, cross-platform, PC, Xbox, PlayStation. Everybody has an opportunity to play this game. I think it's even on PS4 and Xbox One, isn't it?
So
I was hearing reports that in some cases that the PS4 version even ran better.
I was hearing PS4. Someone said that I think Digital Foundry did a test on it. I think it was PS4, and specifically I think the PS4 Pro running the PS4 whatever was getting the best frame rate. But the timing, what is it? A lot of people are having trouble with the PC version. Apparently was dropping frames that they're working on via patch, I think that they optimized this for consoles, and the PC version isn't running quite as well, quite as good.
Yeah.
And Doc even comments on like the frames that he's dropping, and he's got a monster rig, but it's not enough. Yeah, it's not enough for. Yeah, top of the line, probably 3090 and all that.
One of the reviewers I follow on YouTube, ACG, if you've ever heard of him, if you haven't, it's cool. But he does, instead of a numbered system, he does a basically buy it now, wait for a sale, or pass. That's his review system.
Yeah.
And because of the PC version, in his initial review, he talks about how great it is and everything, but then like the day one patch for PC came out, and he's like, I have to drop my buy it now to wait for a sale because this PC patch is just not good. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because the game is great, but
yeah,
I, as a reviewer, I can't, like, they said that these issues will be fixed day one, and they're not fixed day one. So in that instance, there's very few times where I can be like, I'm happy to be a console player. I'm happy to be a console player right now because I haven't run into any issues. The game, I will say it's very muted, but compared to what I've seen from previous Souls games, it's not as muted as other Souls games. I'm like, there's trees and they have leaves on them, and there's grass.
The flowers and there's
yeah, I'm picking up some flowers, so there is color.
Yeah.
I have a very limited knowledge of, like, personal knowledge, only what I've ever seen in streams. Watched several speed runs of Souls games because, as you do, I will say the biggest problem I'm having right now just playing the game, and we probably move on eventually, but the biggest problem I'm having right now playing the game is that Square is like Duck in Horizon.
Okay.
And it's left stick in Elden Ring. Yep. And Flask is Square. Yep. So I'm like,
so you keep taking a swig.
I took 3. I wasted up my like 3 health flasks on perfect health because I was trying to like duck and go stealth. Yep. And then I was frustrated, but I was like, I have full health. Why are you even letting me drink the flask?
Yeah.
I have. There's some problems, not problems, but like there's some things where I'm like, okay, if you don't want to put a difficulty slider in there, fine. But every once in a while, it's like, can you just not be a jerk with some of your game design? Can you just not let me drink the potion on full health because the flasks are, but like, can you not let me drink the health potion on full health because every game ever lets you not drink? Like, how many games can you think of that let you just waste potions?
Well, also, I mean, that totally should be a PC mod. If you're full health, don't do that, because there's an animation. If you, for example, try to cast a spell, or you try to ring the bell and you're not in an area. Yeah, exactly. So if you're not in the area, you get the animation. Give me that. Punish me for having, with those frames, for having full health and trying to drink. I'd rather
shake my head at myself or something as a comedic joke, like, because that did happen. I tried to. I didn't realize that I could put my mount on the main keys. I thought I had to put it in my pouches, so I would have to press triangle plus D-pad.
I swapped those, by the way. I swapped triangle and X. Just throwing that out there.
Made jump triangle.
Yeah, because that way my select because I don't jump very often, but I select if I want to pick up something, I'm using my X.
You do the jump stab, bro.
Oh, I do that. I jump stab. I'm just saying I don't jump as often as I am selecting. All right, what
era are you in? What is that? PS2 era?
That's old Oblivion. That's an old Oblivion right there.
Yeah, PS3. I'm trying to think of like the last time I jumped with the.
The only reason I did it was I was like, I'm going to be reading so much text when I'm playing. I'm going to be like select my, that kind of thing.
I'm trying to think of like a jump on triangle. I don't. Whatever. I mean, if it works for you.
Like if I'm picking flowers, picking flowers. I hit X. It just makes more sense.
I accidentally hit my pouch that doesn't have anything in it.
Oh, okay.
So like, she goes to reach for it. She's like, "Ooh, there's nothing here." And I was, do that. That's fine. Make me look like an idiot for hitting the flask button. That's fine. But I've literally like killed something right next to, what's it called? It's not Maiden. What's the save spots called?
Oh, it's a lost. It's a grace, site of grace.
Grace.
Yeah, yeah.
So right
I
next
keep
to
saying
Grace,
bonfire, but yeah.
Grace, recharge my health and everything. I
Uh-huh.
go back through this like little bandit camp is what I'm calling it, and stab a dude, and then
Mhm.
flask 3 times because I'm trying to stealth and go stab the next dude, and immediately go back to the Grace spot
Yep.
so that I can recharge my flask, kill the same dude, do it again. Flask again.
Yeah. The game will frustrate you, and I think that's one thing that I like about the game is it taught me a lot, and it teaches a lot of people that you know the classic like thing when you're playing a game, you're like, stupid game's broken or my controller's broken. And this time it's like, well, you did something wrong. And in your case, you're swigging a flask and going, I can't believe I did that. Most of the deaths that I've had have been, I can't believe I did that. Like, I can't believe, whatever.
I still say that if you're at full health, it shouldn't let you.
Yeah.
I will say that there is something, maybe not broken,
Mm-hmm.
but a thing of like, that's just a thing that shouldn't be there in terms of like how the mechanic works. Because even if you're trying to like go full-fledged RPG, right, your character is not going to drink a potion unless she has to. So she would just like be like, oh yeah, I'm fine,
I'm full.
I don't need to drink a potion.
Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah, like that just wouldn't happen in real life either. So that it's not broken again. It's just like a thing of like, come on guys, like, throw me a bone every once in a while.
And hopefully the performance stuff gets fixed on PC. I mean, that's something they're working on. I think that's the only negative that I've seen so far. Speaking of things that we hope get fixed, Steam Deck has some reported stick drift issues that I think first time I heard about it was earlier today. I'm sure some other people may have heard about it before. This is a video off Twitter showing that the right analog stick and how it's drifting. It's not going back to 0-0. It's continuing to move. And we did get confirmation that this is actually a firmware update. It's not a Joy-Con issue of continual play or the PS5. Apparently, people are having stick drift on PS5.
I know somebody personally that had it.
Yeah, I mean, part of it. Let's be honest. Part of it could be how the person grips and how much pressure they put on it. Some can be mechanical failure way before it should be failing. In this case, apparently firmware is the culprit, which, man, it could have been so much worse than having a firmware fix.
Yeah, and I'll say that what's cool also about it is that that from what I read, whenever I first shared the stick drift thing, I was like, uh-oh. But then I was looking into it further, and apparently it's like, you still have to open the thing up, but it's apparently a lot more modular, where if your stick is having some issues, it's a lot easier to replace. Where if you don't, I don't know, have you ever tried to replace the sticks in either a Joy-Con or a DS4?
I haven't. I've seen people do it, but I've not done it myself, no.
So I replaced the sticks in my launch DualShock 4, and I messed it up. It's because to replace them, you have to unscrew it, you have to detach ribbons, including like the touchpad, and to get in there, and then like you have to attach it back right. And whenever I was doing it, I don't know what I did. I followed the instructions, I was watching the video, but I somehow screwed up the ribbon that attached to the touchpad, and the touchpad on the DS4 never worked again. Apparently this one's easier to do, so even if there was like a stick drift issue, which would obviously suck to get it right out of the gate and instantly have a problem, that they're trying to make it easier to replace something that is inevitably going to wear out in your sticks, which was nice to see. But what I am super glad about is that they're like, nope, we fixed it. And, unlike Nintendo, who still hasn't fixed it. It's been, I want to say almost 3 years of issues with Joy-Cons. Luckily, I have not had one yet. I think, was it you that mentioned that you had one?
No, I haven't had it. I haven't had any issues. I had one with the PS4 controller, but not with a Nintendo. And I swear that PS4 controller, I think I had for over 4 years at that point. And I'm sorry, but it's fair at that point. I'm sorry. It's mechanical failure on something that's getting depressed and pressed, and that happens. Unfortunately, these things wear out, especially if it's something you're using a lot of times. So I viewed it as just a, these things happen and I have a spare, I'll go get another one to have a. It's a
I don't know
reason why
about
you
you.
should have a second controller.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting a lot closer to wanting to buy one of these things. Like, I heard it's all over the place, and I want to see some like day one work. Not day one, like they're in people's hands now.
Yeah.
But I want to see continual support. So they already launched the firmware. Like that was great. The fact that it was like reported and a day later it was fixed.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that people were really doubting from Valve based on the Steam boxes, which they licensed out. This is made by them, and so I think they have a lot more skin in the game because it's very obvious. Like they have to be taking a loss on this hardware. Even if you buy the cheapest one, with the 64 gig, like what's in there in terms of like
the video, the GPU,
the video card, it has to be a loss for them. So they have skin in the game. There is like they want to play in this handheld space. Give me that continued support because the reviews I'm seeing in just even in just terms of emulation, I read an article where SteamOS is just running on top of Linux, and Linux has an app store, and the app store you can just go download some of these emulators, and then you can then you can add it to your Steam library in SteamOS, and then just play emulation. Which that's cool. Starting to talk a lot more freely about now in terms of the old school stuff because all these companies don't want to make their stuff available like Xbox does. So I'm starting to become a little bit more, 3DS, if you guys are thinking about buying Nintendo games and you have a 3DS sitting around, they made it sound like it's a year, but really they're gonna stop taking credit card payments in like 3 months or 2 months, I think.
Yep. We use same thing.
You're wanting to buy anything on 3DS, so I'm already thinking about that avenue and what that does. There's already like Super Nintendo and NES stuff as well. Do I want to pay that much for an emulation machine? No, but I love my Switch so much that if I can even get like some level of AAA game, my dream right now is to somehow find enough time to get back into Final Fantasy 14 and be able to play Final Fantasy 14 in handheld.
That'd be amazing, and this may be the way to do it. I'm with you in regards to the emulation. I mean, think about it this way: people are talking about the Switch expansion pack, which I was this close, by the way, to doing the Switch expansion pack because they have Majora's Mask on there now, and I was really close to doing it, but thinking, do I want to give them? I have Majora's Mask on my Wii U over here. Do I want to give Nintendo the money? Apparently, it runs better than the Wii U version, but you are streaming it. And at any time, Nintendo could just say, "All right, we're actually going to take that off. Give me the option to buy it. Give me the option to buy it and play it without an internet connection." I just took a business trip last week, which is why you guys saw me like in an office setting. I had to take a trip last week, and I used my Switch a couple times on the plane and in other areas where my internet connection was terrible. Hotel internet connection, dude, I had 1.3 megabits down. 1.3. You gonna game on the go? No, you're not if you're streaming. That's where Stadia does not work. I need to have the game local. And if I had expansion pack at that point, I wouldn't be able to use it. So I am pro emulation for that reason. Give me. I don't understand why I don't understand the business model of not giving the people what they want at $5. Personally, I think like $2 for NES, $5 for SNES is what I think. I mean, $5. It doesn't matter. The game's been out forever. I would buy so many old school games, and other people would be buying up 5-10 games at a time at that price. I mean, it's so much easier to add. Also, Nintendo needs to have a cart and not finish my checkout every single time I buy a single game.
I know.
That's annoying.
Sony's been doing that too. I think it's either like on the app or like in the console or something, but it's so annoying to have to pay tax on every single one. And like you're gonna pay tax on everything, right? But it's technically, in terms of math, to buy item by item by item, you're actually paying more money, I think, over time as far as the tax goes, like slightly. But also just like, let me do it in one transaction. I don't need 17 transactions. I'm not gonna buy 17 games at a time. But
Yeah.
I don't need 4 games or whatever, 3 games. Like if I'm buying, it's especially on those things where you're like shopping a sale. You're like, you're gonna make me go to the checkout screen every time.
I want to throw it in the cart, and then afterwards I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's a little bit more, but I'll buy it. I don't want to go through.
I like to do that too in terms of like deciding, am I actually gonna buy it? Like that's what I love the cart for. Is I do it with like GameStop sales and stuff.
You got like 5 or 6 in the cart, and you're like,
and I'm like, what do I actually want?
Yeah, exactly. I want a Switch Pro, is what I want. It's like, so this is a rumor. That's why I put it up there in the rumor bit. We're continuing to get little trickles here and there that point us in the direction that maybe there's going to be a successor to the Switch. I still think if they do it, which I think at one point they'll have to, but if they do it, it's going to be a Switch. It's not going to be a successor. It's going to be forward compatible, backward compatible, in my opinion. And this was what we got. It's an Nvidia leak that says NVN2. Keep wanting to say NVMe. Seems to be a graphics API for Switch Pro. I do not pretend to be an expert.
Is the Switch.
Yeah, so I don't pretend to be an expert in, if NVN is the Switch, NVN2. We're all assuming that means it's the Switch Pro. Does that mean that it's part of a beefed up dev kit? Are we going to get it? I mean, other people, of course, are saying like, oh, it's going to come out Christmas this year. Who knows? They just came out with the OLED. OLED's great. I would love a beefier Switch. I would absolutely love a beefier Switch. I still think that if whatever they come out with is going to be backward compatible and mostly forward compatible. I think they learned their lesson with the what was that? The 3DS XL or 3DS?
You're talking about the new 3DS?
New 3DS. That's what it was. Sorry, the 3DS XL is what I had, and it was good because it's just a little bit bigger. The new 3DS wasn't.
Which I ran into a problem with, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that was why I had to go do that 2DS XL madness. Is because I had a new 3DS, and you cannot transfer a new 3DS to a 3DS.
That's so dumb.
Like, based in their thing, like, you can't transfer your purchases to your hard drive. Like, they already had a problem with that in terms of, like, even though they had an eShop at that point, you can't transfer purchases from one to the other because they only let you have one at a time.
Yeah.
Which is another problem, by the way. But they haven't even technically solved that with a Switch. They have the like logging in, but you have to be connected. So I had to go buy a new 2DS XL because of that thing. And literally, I think they made like 4 games.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The new 3DS is the Sega Genesis 32X. It's the Sega Genesis 32X for Nintendo. It's the successor / add-on that was not. But even then, those games were forward compatible in the 32X. If you put it into a regular Genesis, you still got to play the game. You just didn't get to play.
Yeah, the 32X was just a thing that dropped.
The mushroom thing. Yeah. It wasn't like was it like the N64 had the expansion pack that you needed for certain games. 3DS was like that, but at least you got to keep your N64. Like, yeah, it was a bad choice for Nintendo. So I think that they will have learned their lesson when it comes to that, and I think for the most part, anything that's when they come out with this thing eventually, they're not going to ostracize their current player base, which is why they're not in a rush to launch a Switch Pro. Why launch a Switch Pro when you can't, they're literally, I think this past weekend was the first time I've seen a Switch in the store in a while. OLED Switch, by the way. Sorry. I hadn't seen a OLED since it launched. And the Switch is still selling well, so they're not in a rush to bring out the Pro. But when it comes out, I think that not only will you be able to play your regular Switch games on that, but I think for the most part, you're gonna be able to play anything that's coming out on that on your Switch. It's just not gonna run. It's not gonna be as pretty. And then maybe they'll have a couple titles that are exclusive to that Switch Pro. But I think for the most part, I think it's gonna be forward compatible, backward compatible.
I mean, I have a fear right now in terms of like just where it keeps leaking. Like, maybe they do want one that has upgraded hardware, because I don't think they're ever going to make any exclusives on it. I don't think that's, unless it's a third party. I don't think the first party ever does.
Yeah.
What if that's really what's holding us back from Breath of the Wild 2? Chip shortages is what's holding me back from Breath of the Wild 2. That's a fear that I have right now. It's just because when Breath of the Wild came out, Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game. It's a Wii U game. We were waiting 5 years on the Wii U. Us loyal Wii U owners that bought a Wii U because you said a Zelda game was in development.
And so we bought a console for that reason.
I did. I bought the Wind Waker edition because it was dope, and I then waited.
Yeah.
And waited. And in March 2017, I finally got it. I played and beat Breath of the Wild on the Wii U before buying a Switch later that year. And by later, I mean like 3 months. But before doing, and then playing Breath of the Wild subsequently again and putting even more hours into it and doing a full shrine run on my Switch. But I'm sitting here. I bought the SWOLED. I got a regular Switch too. I'm just waiting for that Breath of the Wild sequel, and I'm afraid that what's gonna happen is Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna drop. I'm gonna play it on my SWOLED, and then I'm gonna buy a Switch Pro and I'm gonna play it again.
Yep. I mean, that's probably gonna happen if the Switch Pro comes out. I'll probably do the exact same thing. If the Switch Pro comes out and Breath of the Wild 2 comes out and I can play it on my SWOLED, I'll probably play it on my SWOLED. And wait for the upgrade, because I just upgraded. I love my Switch. The wife now has my old Switch. For those of you who didn't know, I upgraded and was considering selling my Switch. Threw it in the closet, thinking, maybe I shouldn't sell it. I don't know. I just kind of held on to it, and she started playing Pokemon and loved it docked. So I transferred her game file over. And speaking of Pokemon, we got a trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Back to the colors, bro.
Yep. Which, as soon as I saw that, I thought, we just got Arceus. But at the same time, like, I'm not I don't know, upset or what have you. This is going to be, like you said, back to the colors. We're going to get 2 different versions, being, trading between the between consoles and between players. It almost feels like, to me, that like Arceus was like, let's dip our toes into doing this, and now we do Scarlet and Violet. I haven't looked. I'm assuming this is the same engine.
I mean, from what they made it sound like, this is Arceus, like in terms of the style, like, and it better be. I want running around. I don't ever want to go back again. I can't do, like, yes, the turn-based battles did happen in Arceus. There are some people that you can fight. You can't run away. That's fine. But in terms of the Pokemon, in terms of wild Pokemon, I don't ever want to do that crap again. I don't want that grind. I don't want to have to go into an individual battle. It's like, oh, I don't want to deal with you. I'm running away now.
I'm going to run away.
Oh, I don't want to deal with you. Like Paris. I've been running away from Paris the entire game.
And I know you can run away in Pokemon. Yeah. We know that. Don't come at us on that.
You can put on Repel.
Yeah.
You can put on Repel and skip fights altogether. But I want to be able to see you.
Yep.
I want to even do the thing. Like, I caught a couple of the alphas most of my alpha catches. I never even fought them. I did sneak attack. Like I did back. I threw a berry and then I threw a ball at their back over and over again until the ball finally like stuck. Because I didn't want to fight a level 50 with my level 20. So I was catching like.
I gotta try
50.
that.
I caught a level 70 without fighting it.
I gotta try that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just ran away.
I don't fight any of the alphas. I mean, eventually later I did, but any of the ones that I first caught, I literally just go into the grass, duck down, wait, throw a berry behind, heavy ball, and then if it doesn't, and then immediately run away. As soon as you heavy ball them, run away, because most of the time you're not going to catch them, and then like 10 or 20 balls later you're catching them.
Yeah.
It takes a little dedication and everything, but that's how you catch high level
Yeah.
Pokemon when you shouldn't have them.
Yeah, playing that low percentile,
so-
you're just like, okay, I'll just waste some balls. It's fine.
So if that is what is this game, plus gyms and plus Elite Four, I'm in.
I'm all
But
about it. Yeah.
if they try and go back to Sword and Shield, which I know Sword and Shield is like quasi open world, but no, it's got to be completely open. So this game was definitely in development alongside of it.
Yep.
I wish they hadn't done it though. I wish that they had just done some DLC for Arceus, or
Same.
done a thing where like we like kind of like an Arceus sequel where maybe it'd be cool to go back to like ancient Kanto or ancient Johto. For those who don't know, that's red, blue, and silver and gold. Like, I don't really need a new Pokedex. Like the fact that there's new starters, I'm it. You know, it's always fun to have new starters, and it would have been cool to maybe you could have some like extra Dex members. But dude, the Dex is so big now. That's probably like my only grief. But why does this game look better? That's my problem with it. Why does it look immediately better? The architecture looks better. Yeah, the grass and all that stuff still looks just as crappy.
They polished more. They polished it more. Top comment, by the way, on the YouTube when I popped in there. I'm pretty sure it was on YouTube. It was one of the top comments. Was I'm so glad they're making GameCube games still. like burn, but I mean, I get it. Like we said, it's Game Freak, it's Pokemon. Whitney hates timed battles. I've talked about this before. Like, I've been trying to get her to play Final Fantasy VII. She didn't even like the remake Final Fantasy VII because the battle she could. I know. Like, I'm trying to win her over on it. She didn't like the battle.
So she didn't like After Time Battle.
Yeah, she didn't like it, but she played.
Turn that off in the original 7.
The active. Well, I thought I had it disabled. I'll have to double check.
In original 7, you can turn off ATV.
Yeah, no, I had her playing the original, and I also had her playing the remake, and it wasn't doing it. I think part of it's the pressure of she knows it's a game that I really like, and you know that seems it seems like even though I'm not pressuring, it's pressure. It's a pressure.
I don't even bother trying to influence the wife like that. That's why with Elden Ring, literally she brought it to me. She was like, I heard about this game, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play it?
But she loved the battles in Pokemon, even though that's a timed battle. Normally she does not like timed battles. She wants to button mash. She loves dude, she's played every God of War game except for the 2018 one, which I need to get her to play. She's beaten every single God of War game. She's beaten almost.
You mean turn-based? She doesn't like
turn-based. Yeah, sorry, turn-based. Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't like turn-based.
Time battle, and I was
sorry,
like,
turn-based. Sorry,
pure turn-based. You can
no, turn-based. Sorry, where it's like it's now that where you have a clock. It's like, right now it's your turn. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the meter that in like Final Fantasy VII, where if you technically are faster, but. She didn't mind it in this, and I think it's because it felt like it didn't feel like you were in a turn-based battle, even though you were in a turn-based battle. It felt more like you had more agency in your attacks, which I contend Final Fantasy VII Remake. I felt like I had more weight and more agency in my choice, even though I'm just basically choosing an attack. Or you can do the active one as well, but.
I don't know. I mean, you can totally dodge and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you can dodge in there.
Makes an action game. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get her into it. I think it's, like I said, it's part of the pressure of that.
It doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. Just keep throwing.
Just keep throwing them Pokeballs at her. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
see what happens.
Keep throwing Final Fantasy VII cases at her.
So that was just like some things about it. Like if it's exactly the same as Arceus in terms of gameplay plus gyms and Elite Four, that means it's going to be even better than Arceus was. Arceus is great. Arceus is an 8. It's a great 8. I can't do 9 or 10 because it looks so bad. There's just so much color popping and everything. There's like moments where there's just literally like a white ring around you because it can't integrate your character in with the background. For some reason it just looks absolutely awful, but it's so fun to play you don't care. So that's why it's like solid 8, definitely.
And I'd say Elden Ring doesn't look that bad. Elden Ring doesn't look that bad. I've had people trash it on forums. It doesn't look that bad. Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
could look
as good
better.
as Horizon.
No, it does not. No, but
And
it's
there's
not
moments
bad.
where it doesn't feel as good as Horizon either. I think in terms of like the dodge roll and stuff, like Aloy rolls
It's tight.
way cleaner
Yeah.
than you're doing in Elden Ring. The thing that I think about Horizon,
Mhm.
it's fantastic, but it's the style of open world is now getting to the point where it's really annoying. I climbed my first tall neck. Here we go.
Mhm.
Climbed the first tall neck on and like locked it up. Got the map. Looked at my map because you know I'm going to, and I stopped counting. There were so many question marks on my map, and I can't even go to most of those question marks. So far, I went to like I think 4 or 5 of them, and it was like, you can't progress right now. I was like, why is this on my map then? Versus like Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, where it's like, okay, you found it, now it's on your map.
Yeah.
You found it. Oh wait, it's not on your map because it doesn't matter that much. There's no reason to put it on your map, but you found it. Do you want to mark it? We'll give you like 10,000 markers if you want to put a marker on the map.
Yeah.
Which I already did. I used my first one to indicate, hey, here's a big guy. I ran away from big guy. There's a big guy in there.
Yep.
The next time you want to go fight a big guy. But that's the fatigue that I'm having with this type of open world, where it's like, there's too much crap on my map. Just let me run around as Aloy and let me figure it out. If I find it, cool. If you want to put my like direct quest on there, and that's the other thing, I have like 9 quests at a time that have markers.
You got to have an active. Have your active quest. Choose an active quest, and then disable all that stuff on the map. Like, games should do that, or it makes make them less prominent, a little bit transparent, maybe, so that way you're like, yeah, there was something there, but that's not what you're after now. Yeah.
In terms of gameplay, though, like performance mode on Horizon is peak. Like, the things that are annoying are climbing walls, but in terms of fighting, the combat, how she rolls, how she moves, how her weapons pull, like everything feels so good playing that game. It's all the other stuff around it where Elden Ring is clearly like, this is, like you mentioned, Breath of the Wild Souls. This is the open world of
this is the Witcher 3
future. No, Witcher 3 is, again, too much crap on the map.
That's
like,
what I mean.
Let's just walk around. Yeah. No, but Elden Ring is clearly just, you want to find it? Okay. You don't want to find it? We don't care.
I have a Google Doc that I'm like jotting down things, like
somebody recommended that, keeping like a journal.
Yeah. So like, I've got a Google Doc. Yeah, and I've dumped things in there like I've dumped things in there that's quasi spoilery. Not that I know where they are or what they are, but like the list of all of the mini boss / bosses. Or different things like that, where it's like, I want to make sure that I don't miss one, so I can kind of check them off. But other than that, I've stayed mostly in the dark on it. But yeah, I can't wait. Sorry, we can keep talking about Elden Ring.
I will say, if you ever, like, because I know you haven't beat the first Horizon, I still think you should. It's a great story, and it's just so much fun to play. There's a lot of fun things to it, but like, dang, Gorilla, like, the joke that I saw was like, what happens for Horizon 3? Because I think it's going to be a trilogy, not knowing how this ends. I still don't know how the second one ends, but it seems like a game that's perfectly lined up for
Horizon 3. Yeah, Horizon 3 launches.
Like, so what comes out when Horizon 3? Like, what like open world VR game? Like,
Elder
Scrolls. Get, like, some kind of like, or like
mic drop. Elder Scrolls.
We're gonna get Elder Scrolls 6. On PlayStation VR 2. I don't know what it's going to be. It'll
be Horizon. So Guerrilla announces it, and they'll be like, it's going to come out. It's going to be March 2024, 2025, whatever it is. And then January comes out. Like, so they're not going to do it in December. January comes out, and I don't even know if Todd Howard's going to be working for them at the time, but probably bring back Todd Howard even if he's not. And he's like, Elden Ring comes out in March, like 2 months before it. Exactly what they did with Fallout, and it will smash everything. And not that I think they want to be vindictive, but it's how can you have such bad timing again?
It's gotta. I mean, it just got. To be fair, Horizon did like sell over 10 million copies.
Yeah.
The first one. I don't know where the second one's at. It is both PS4 and PS5, so I'm sure it's gonna do just fine. It's more that it doesn't get its time in the sun in terms of like the talking and everything, where you just feel bad for it. Like it's immediately an afterthought as soon as this game comes out, because so many people are discovering Souls games for the first time because they made an open world version of a Souls game. I think that's the difference. If Elden Ring was another like Sekiro style stuff, I'm not saying people wouldn't be talking about it, because people like Sekiro won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, so it's not like people ignored it or anything. But in terms of your average everyday player, lots of people ignored it. But it's the fact that they put this game in an open world, in a truly, in my opinion, open world game where it's like, you're on the map now, have fun. That's the difference, because it even intrigued somebody like me, where I'm like, I have zero interest in playing a Souls game. What? What? You did the Breath of the Wild thing,
and it's really open world.
You put you put a steelbook on it. Oh.
And it's actually open world. It's not like fake open world where like like a little bit of the game is open world. By the way, you mentioned her rolling being a little bit tighter. You know about fat rolls, right? So in the Souls games,
I got a couple.
Yeah, that's why we like to call it the fat roll. So like if your weight is higher. Sorry, I'm exhausted. If your equipment is too high of weight compared to your strength and encumbrance, what have you, then you roll slow. So I am like,
know about that.
Okay, I am like wearing the lightest as possible as I can. That also, okay, I'm wearing cloth. You saw what I'm wearing. It's like literally my starter cloth stuff. And when I get better caster stuff, I'm basically glass cannon. I may adjust a little bit, but just thought I'd throw that out there. One last thing before we go, though. It's not Half-Life 3 confirmed. It's not. But Half-Life Aperture Desk Job is coming out. And it's free. So, thought I'd throw that out there. Not only is it... I mean, if anybody played... I'm sure everyone watching here played Portal 2. I'm assuming it's going to be more hilarity like that and puzzles. But yeah, I'm gonna play this.
I mean, I probably won't, but maybe I do. Like, is it on? If it's on PC, I'm not gonna play it.
I'm double checking because I'm pretty sure. Hold on, it says it's scheduled for March 1st this year. What? On Steam? Oh, I thought this was on PS. It's okay, so it's apparently on PC. Well, I may or may not play it. It did come out March 1st, or it will. I don't know. I'm seeing conflicting things there. But I thought it may be coming to, but apparently PC only. I should have looked that up beforehand. It looks quirky, but now that I know that it's only on PC, I may or may not play it just because. I like my console. I like my console life.
Maybe when I get my Steam Deck.
Maybe the first game that we play on our Steam Decks, if we get Steam Decks. It
looks like it's designed for the Steam Deck based on some of the buttons you're seeing.
It did kind of look like that, didn't it?
That first screen there, R2, R1, like, it's totally...
That does look like a Steam Deck. Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they're totally... Yeah, they want you to be playing this on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I totally didn't notice that. I'm exhausted and dense sometimes, so that happens. But let us know what you think about that. Are you playing Elden Ring? Are you playing Horizon Forbidden West? Are you playing another game that we didn't talk about this week? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.